In the last video, we talked about how various tribes and ethnic groups in the Armenian highlands came together to form the Kingdom of Urartu, one of the earliest Armenian states. To start, I'd like to mention that Urartu is the Assyrian name given to the region. The Urartians themselves called their country Pianili. The Kingdom of Urartu was headed by a king, who had absolute power over the kingdom. Leading administrative positions were filled by the royal family, as well as governors for regions close to the capital. Remote regions were sometimes inhabited by various ethnic groups, so they were headed by a local governor, who would also enjoy full power as long as they obey the king. The regions were expected to regularly provide the king with natural products such as cattle and grain. A big part of the population enjoyed some freedom. They could run their own farm, employ servants, or use slaves, who were usually captured rebels from remote regions. Some Urartians were obliged to participate in building the nation, which mainly consisted of construction work for temples and fortresses. A small part of the population that worked in the military or the court lived on state allowance. From all the research I've been doing on Urartu, irrigation has really been one of the most impressive accomplishments. See, many of the regions were poorly adapted for primitive farming, so water was a crucial factor. And thanks to the irrigation system, Urartu was self-sufficient with grain and was the major producer and exporter of wine in the region. The irrigations were mostly built in 700 to 800 BCE, and some of them are still used to this day without major reconstruction. The largest is the Menua Canal. It exceeded 70 kilometers in length and supplied water to the capital, Tushpa, which would be modern-day Van. The Menua Canal crossed over a creek on an aqueduct bridge, and some part of it were supported by stone walls up to 15 meters. For more than 2,500 years, the Menua Canal has been flowing uninterruptedly, with some repairs done in 1950 in the middle part of the canal. Currently, or at least according to the most recent source I could find, dated 2012, it is being used as a part of a system irrigating 5,000 hectares and produces 5 megawatts of electricity. Another interesting development were the Urartian irrigation facilities in Rusahinili, a suburb of Tushpa. They included an artificial lake which still exists and a network of underground canals and pipes. The system functioned until the late 19th century and parts of it still work. The Urartian irrigation technology was praised by the Assyrians, in particular by King Sargon II, who did destroy some of the system in Ulhu during his military campaign in 714 BCE, but his letters document the system's design. He mentions underground stone pipes, which were later discovered by archaeologists in Yerepuni, which would be modern-day Yerevan. The Urartians bred cattle, buffalo, sheep, goats, pigs, etek, and a lot of horses, mainly because of the meadows and their strategic importance for the military. Animal breeding was a major occupation for the Nairi tribes that preceded the kingdom, but it became second to agriculture as the kingdom rose to power. As for agriculture, the Urartians used mostly iron tools to work wheat, barley, rice, sesame, lentils, chickpeas, etek. Sesame was processed for vegetable oil, while grains were used for baking bread and brewing a strong beer-like drink, which was stored in buried pitchers and drank through a straw. And if that's not enough to dub Urartu the party capital of the Caucasus, grapes, which was of course mostly processed into wine, which was the most important product of the Urartian economy. Most Urartian cities had a large wine storage up to about 400,000 liters. These seeds and remains were discovered during the excavation of Urartian cities, along with Urartian tablets describing some processes. And right about now, I know what most of you are thinking. What's that word right there? Well, I will tell you. That word is copy. Copy was a unit of volume measurement used by the Urartians. The exact value remains unknown. Lowest estimates suggest similarity to the Persian unit kapit, which would be around 2.5 liters, and on the other end of the spectrum there are suggestions as high as 55 liters for 1 copy. More recent studies look at the volume of the granaries recorded by Urartian kings in copies, make some assumptions on how tall the walls could be, then narrow this range down to around 15 liters. Similarly, the Urartians used volumes, akarki, and terusi for liquid. By measuring various pots and translating the inscriptions on them, we've concluded that 1 akarki would be 9 or 10 terusi, which was probably around 250 liters. Therefore, we can look at some inscriptions, and using basic maths we can deduce that 1 akarki and 4 terusi of wine would be one hell of an awesome party. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you'd like to see the next episode about the Urartian language or the Urartian-Assyrian War.